Greetings everyone, welcome to Advance. This game was played in European Club Cup. With the black pieces here we have our speed demon Nihal Sarin facing off against Rigo Zsolt. He's an IM and roughly 300 points below the Nihal, so this is going to be not that difficult of a round, but he's still going to have to work for his meat. Here just e4 was played by Rigo, and now just comes e5 by Nihal. Knight to f3, knight to c6, and bishop to b5. We go into the Ruy Lopez. Knight g to e7. This is the Cozio defense of the Ruy Lopez. Here just comes castles. Knight to g6 and just d4 in this position. E captures, knight captures, and just bishop to c5. Just challenging that piece, and here just going for this knight to b3. You don't want to trade early on. I mean, it just brings a lot of trouble, because if you trade early on, then the trouble is, I mean, you just trade everything and the game goes into a draw. But here just bishop to b6, and now just comes this knight to c3, a6 now, bishop to e2, and just d6 in this position. Queen king to h1, a nice prophylactic move, always helpful, and also saying that now I'm going to be ready to push that f4 somewhere along the line. Castles was played, and now just comes f4. Also reminds me of one of the games that was played in Fede Grand Swiss between Vaishali and Aline Robes, where it was the similar position, and here in this position here I think f5 was played, but the thing is that the king was still on g1, and that made all the difference, because the thing is that there was still a d pawn here, and the trouble with that was, with all of these pawns in the center and the king being on g1, it just became very much troublesome for Aline Robes to try and survive, and Vaishali won that game in 22 moves. That was absolutely spectacular and a crushing win for Vaishali, and she went on to win the Fede Swiss right from there. So here in this position just f5 was played by Nihal as well. Will he be able to convert like that? But let's just see. Here just comes knight to d5, now just comes bishop to a7, just pushing the bishop back, and you could go for this e caps on f5 in this position, but the thing is that after bishop captures you just give me easy development. Bishop to e3 asking for a trade, bishop captures, knight captures, bishop to d7 in this position, because you don't want to trade the bishop early on, and here just g3, knight c to e7, and the game goes on by being a little bit better, but not that much. I don't think the engine evaluation is a little bit fair here in this position, but still the thing is that Nihal should be able to convert this. But after bishop to a7, here bishop to d3 was played, just not developing those pieces that early on. Maybe not something you want to do against Nihal, but still. Here just knight c to e7 was played, now just comes c4, just cementing that knight there on d5, and here we have c6 pushing it back, knight to c3, and just king to h8, and now just comes this bishop to d2, b5 now pushing those pawns all the way, queen to h5, and b caps on c4. We have bishop captures, d5 now, and here we have e captures, c captures, and now the bishop moves back, knight to g8, and now what do you do in this position? Seems like white is doing absolutely fine here. I mean, the queen is already eyeing all of this, the rook is already on the nice file. Maybe you can create some sort of discrepancies and try to attack in this position, but the thing is that you have only 3 pieces towards the attack. You want those knights to be there as well, but your knights are doing something on the queen side, and that is absolutely just not understandable. But hey, knight to e2 was played, getting the knight re-maneuvered, but hey, just knight to f6, attacking the queen. And you can go for a move like queen to g5 in this position. Your position is going to be absolutely fine. Queen to e8, you play bishop to b4, attacking the rook, and after rook to f7, here rook a to d1, and after bishop to d7, knight bd4, a5 now, pushing the bishop back, bishop to c3, and knight to e4, attacking the queen, and also, forking the bishop as well. After queen to h5, the game goes on. You can play this rook to b8, you can play a4 here. You can also go for a move like knight to f6 in this position. Your position is going to be absolutely fine. Black is a little bit better, and Nihal again should convert this. But after knight to f6, here queen to f3 was played, pushing the queen all the way back, and maybe that gave Nihal a bit too much, because now once you go out to the offensive and once you push back, I mean, you are going to get pushed really back here. Knight to e4 was played, getting the knight to the center of the board, bishop to e3 now, but now just comes this knight to h4, attacking the queen, and here queen to h3 was played, and here was a chance for Rigo to be extra cautious in this position. Here d4 was played by Nihal, and the move that you want to play in this position is actually bishop caps on d4, and after this bishop to b7, bishop caps on e4, bishop captures rook to f2, and after this h6, I mean, your position should be fine here. King to g1, maybe just bishop caps on d4 now, and it looks a lot scary, but after knight e caps on d4, your position is going to be absolutely fine, because the thing is that you can just develop the rook, and maybe just get the rook to a decent square, maybe targeting black queen. You have so many things you can do in this position and not much to worry about. But after d4, here knight caps on d4 was played, and now Slowly but slowly here Nihal's position is rising. Here bishop to b7. Now just comes this rook a to d1, queen to f6, and now came the trouble. Here knight to f3 was played, and now you can see the engine evaluation shifting in Nihal's favor. And here knight caps on f3. We have bishop caps on a7 first, and now just comes this very nice knight to h4 again. Not worried about anything, but the thing is that engine is not liking this, because the move that you want to play in this position is actually bishop to d4 attacking the queen, which was played, and now just comes queen to e7. But here just king to g1 was played, rook a to d8, and queen to e3. So his opponent has done everything fine, but the thing is that if Nihal can actually go for a very nice line in this position, which is the sacrificing the rook and going down in exchange, and he can try to put some pressure there. Rook captures on d4, and after queen captures, you play this knight to f6, queen to e5, queen to f7, and here after queen to c5, you play this bishop caps on g2, attacking the rook, and your position would be absolutely fine. You will get sufficient compensation for the sacrificed exchange, and you can just try to go on and push this game towards a win. But after queen to e3, he did not feel like going that much forward. Here queen to f7 was played, being a waiting move, queen to h3 now, and queen to h5, and here bishop caps on e4, bishop captures, and in this position you have to be extra careful. With a move like queen to g3, you're still very much into the game. Most likely queen to g4 will be played. You don't want to trade queens because you are the one better. So here king to f2, bishop caps on g2, rook to g1, and after this rook f to e8, you play bishop to e5, rook captures, and after queen to f3 check. Again, don't want to trade queens, move the king back, and your position should be fine. But here after bishop caps on e4, knight to g3 was played, and now there is only one tactical shot. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find out this tactical shot which wins the game right on the spot. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move. The move is knight to f3, and you cannot capture with the pawn. Obviously, you can see that the queen would be hanging. So here in this position, rook caps on f3 was played. Finally, just sacrificing the exchange, but just queen caps on h3. And the trouble is, if you capture this with the g pawn, it seems like a decent move, but the thing is that bishop caps on f3 will be played, and problem is you're just down in exchange, and you don't have much for that sacrifice exchange or lost exchange. So what do you do for that? Hey, just knight caps on e4 was played, sacrificing the queen, not retaking it. So Nihal said thank you very much, just queen to h4, knight to f2, king to g8 in this position, and now just comes this g3, and here queen to e7. Nihal just has to convert this. There is definitely not enough compensation. You have for the queen two rooks, and I mean for the two rooks you have a knight and a bishop. I mean that is not going to survive here in this position. Here rook f to d3 was played, but now just comes queen to f7, and here just a3, and now here rook f to e8 was played, and now just bishop to e5, rook captures. Now I mean you just completely lost. h6, rook to c3, rook to d8, and rook to c7 was played, rook to d7. Now just comes rook to c8 check, king to h7, and here just moving back with the rook. But still it's just a matter of time before Nihal converts this. There is no way you can hold this position. Queen to b3, now just comes this bishop to c3, rook to c7, king to f1, a5 now, and now just comes this king to g1, a4, king to f1, g5, f captures, h captures, and after this king to g1, king to g6 was played, just getting the king into the possession. King to f1 again, I mean just moving back and forth, rook to h7, king to g1, queen to b6, and rook to d1, rook to e7, bishop to b4, and rook to e6, bishop to c3, rook to e2, and now just going for bishop to d4, but queen to c6 comes, and now that queen is getting inside the position, bishop to c3, queen to f3, and here rook to f1 was played, but it's definitely not enough to go for anything here. g4 now, pushing the pawns all the way, bishop to d4, f4 now, g captures, g3, and now you can just resign here, but still the player went on. H captures, queen captures, and after king to h1, queen to f3 check was played. Now just comes this queen caps on f4, bishop to a7, and here queen to g3 check again was played. And the thing is that there is nothing you can do. King to h1 was played. After rook to e7, he just resigned the game because there is not much you can do. Even if you go for this knight to h3 trying to stop the check that is about to come, just queen captures on h3 will be played. I mean there is not much you can do, and after this the king moves wherever. I mean most likely here you're just gonna get another check, king will move, and now this will be, I mean, a very nice checkmate in the position, and there is not much you can do to be able to stop that. And his opponent realized this, and was on this move, on just move 67, that Rigo Zsolt resigned the game, and Nihal on his first match got this spectacular victory. In well 67 moves is still decent. I mean he was winning way much before that. His opponent just didn't resign the game, and that's absolutely fine. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with some of these amazing games, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching.